Hi, I'm Charla from Freezer Meals 101, and today I'm making a huge amount of make-ahead breakfasts. So I hope you'll join me and check out what we're making as I show you how to do this. Some of this is I'm doing for the first time, so I can't guarantee that everything is going to work smoothly, but we'll do our best here and see how it goes. I've already been doing about 2 hours worth of prep, so there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that I've already done. I've diced the peppers, I cut up some chorizo sausage, sliced some green onions, I pre-cooked these breakfast sausage patties. Now you can buy these already cooked, and next time I might just do that to save some time. I've also gone ahead and started, I've browned breakfast sausage as well, and I browned some hash browns. The hash browns came already cooked, but I like to get more of a crunch to them, so I've gone ahead and made them just a little crunchier in the frying pan. So right now I am whisking eggs and milk and just some salt and pepper, and I'm going to be frying this up as scrambled eggs because the scrambled eggs will go in both the breakfast bowls and in the breakfast burritos. So before I get to that, I should probably tell you what we're making today. We are making, let's see, we're making cinnamon French toast, which is so delicious, breakfast sandwiches, and we're gonna make those 3 different ways just to give you a little bit of variety and see what you can do with a breakfast sandwich, scrambled egg bites, and breakfast burritos and breakfast bowls. So we also might make pancakes with blueberries, just pancake mix, and then add in our blueberries, fry them up and put them in the freezer, and I'll show you a trick for doing that if we have time to get to the pancakes today. I haven't completely committed to the pancakes because we'll just see how far we get with everything else and how long things take us, and then I'll make a decision about that. They're easy to make another day if I don't have time today. So I also have bacon cooking in the oven. I have a really good trick for bacon if you're making large quantities at a time. So you can check out my video on how to cook bacon. There should be a link above that you can click on if you're looking for that tip. I'm going to go over and add these scrambled eggs to the frying pan and then pop back and get something else started. I'm going to keep this bowl because I will use it for the egg mixture for the cinnamon French toast, since it's basically going to be the same ingredients and no sense in washing it in between since it's the same idea. I wanted to start with our breakfast sandwiches so we can get some things going for that. So I've gone ahead and greased this muffin tin, and then I have whisked some eggs together with milk and some salt and pepper, and then I'm going to pour these in the muffin tin. You don't want to make them too high or your breakfast sandwich will have a hard time staying together. So you just want to do a little bit, well, I guess more than a little bit, but you don't want as much as 1 full egg in each muffin tin. So I used 8 eggs and the milk, and that will hopefully allow me to fill this dozen. We'll be making a fair bit more than a dozen today, but we got to start somewhere, so here we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and pop this into a 350 degree oven that's preheated while I'm doing that, I'm gonna stir my scrambled eggs and I'll be back. I've set the timer for 17 minutes for the eggs for the breakfast sandwiches. And when those are done, we can start assembling the breakfast sandwiches. I'm using some sliced back bacon, which you might know by the name Canadian bacon. Here in Canada, we mostly call it back bacon since, you know. And then I'm using the pre-cooked or cooked earlier breakfast sausage patties. And then I have some cooked sriracha bacon that I'm using for the others. So those will be going on our English muffins with the egg and some cheese. They'll get wrapped individually, and I'll write on each individual wrapper what it has in it, whether it's the bacon, the back bacon, or the breakfast sausage, because that way whoever grabs them out can see at a glance what they're, you know, can choose their favorite basically. So some of the meals that I'm making today are going to feed our family breakfast for the next little while, but I'm also making extra because we have a friend who is having surgery on Tuesday and I want to help their family out. They have 3 kids, so while she's recovering, I want to be able to bless them with some breakfasts made ahead. I have another friend that is making them some soups and some banana bread. So hopefully we can set their family up a little bit. This friend that's having the surgery is actually doing an incredibly selfless thing and donating a piece of her liver to a stranger's baby. So when I heard the other day that it was a baby that was going to be the recipient, I bawled. I mean, organ donation has touched our life already, with a very close friend of ours receiving a liver this past April that saved his life, and he's a dad of 7 and just a great man. And so we're, you know, we already, organ donation is already something that's close to our hearts. So, but as a mom, when you hear that this particular time it's a baby being saved, you know, you can't help but put yourself in the shoes of those parents and feel the relief and hope they must be feeling right now. So I'm unbelievably proud of my friend for doing this, and just so thrilled that this family is receiving this gift. Sorry, I'm getting emotional again. But so part of these meals are going to help their family, and hopefully that will help during her recovery. So I'm going to again go and stir the scrambled eggs. I'm going to also grab out my cheese from the fridge. Be right back. So while I wait for the eggs that are in the oven, I'm going to get started on the next freezer breakfast, which is the cinnamon French toast. So I'm going to go ahead. I don't have an exact recipe for this or perfect measurements. It's something I've been making for years and years. So I'm just going to go ahead and estimate an eyeball. Yesterday I went and bought cinnamon bread at our local bakery. They make delicious cinnamon bread. And I had them cut it extra thick so that it will work better for the French toast. And then that's one less step for me to have to do, is cutting it or slicing it. So I'm just going ahead and breaking these eggs. If you can believe it, we are going to be going through at least this pack of 30 eggs today, if not breaking into that second pack of 30 eggs. But when you have 7 kids and a lot of them are hungry teenagers, going through 30 or 60 eggs isn't unheard of. So just go ahead here and break a bunch of these in here, and then I'm going to add milk, and usually add just some cinnamon, but today I'm going to add a bit of pumpkin pie spice, or apple pie spice actually, not pumpkin. scratch that. Today I'm going to be adding a bit of apple pie spice instead of just cinnamon. So the apple pie spice has some nutmeg in it as well as the cinnamon, and I think it'll give just a little bit of extra flavor. Now, if you want, you can just use the cinnamon bread and not add the extra cinnamon or apple pie spice, but that's something that's up to you. We like cinnamon around here, so extra cinnamon will be a welcome thing. Okay, just had to wash my hands from the egg yuckiness, and I'm going to add some milk. I think I'll probably have to make this mixture a few times today, but I'd rather make too little and make it again than have a lot of excess egg that goes to waste at the end of the day. So just whisk this up quickly. I do a little bit more milk. Again, not measuring, just adding. I do have the exact recipe for the cinnamon French toast on my website, so I will put the link down below in around the comments section, and if you're looking for an exact recipe, you can check that out. I'm going to add a little bit of that apple pie spice. And now I'm going to tell you my secret to the most delicious French toast ever. And that is orange zest. So, orange zester, just throw some in there. This elevates it so much. This takes it from, you know, your average French toast that anybody can make to tasting like you're eating this in a hotel from room service or eating it at a fancy restaurant. This is the secret. I'm also going to throw in some vanilla, and I'm hopping over to stir the scrambled eggs again. I will be right back. Okay, so adding that dash of vanilla, and I think that looks about right. My husband is actually the French toast maker in our house, other than when I do it ahead for the freezer. So when we have fresh French toast on a weekend morning, it's always him that makes it up with the kids. So I think that looks about right, but I'm not completely the expert. So I'm going to plug in my electric griddle, get that ready. This plug that I have on my island, it's kind of ugly because it's silver and right coming up off the island and pretty it dates the house, but I'm thankful for it. I love the convenience of having a plug right on my island. So I'm going to go and grab the cinnamon bread while this heats up. So there's a trick to making French toast for the freezer, and that is that after you cook your French toast, you put it on in a single layer on a baking sheet and freeze it, and then once it's frozen, you transfer it to a freezer bag. The reason you want to do this is so that the pieces don't stick together and you can easily grab one at a time. Then when you're reheating, we've found that the best way to do that is actually in the toaster. That way it doesn't get soggy like it does if you do it in the microwave. So we just pop ours right in the toaster. If you have a toaster oven, you do that too. So I'm just dipping my bread in the mixture, throwing it on the electric griddle. And once I fill the whole thing, it'll be time to flip those first ones over. So it works pretty well. If you're doing this for a large group, then it's great to use an electric griddle like this. If you're just making a few at a time, or if you have a small family or just cooking for yourself, then you can go ahead and just do them up in a frying pan. This is that delicious cinnamon bread from the bakery that already has the cinnamon in there. I don't know if you can see that, but just all kinds of goodness. So the same rule as far as freezing them flat first on their own individually before transferring them to a bag. You want to do that same thing with pancakes or waffles. Again, makes it super easy to take out one at a time, makes it so they don't stick together. Okay, quickly stirring the scrambled eggs, and then coming back and flipping this. Obviously, it's easier to do one thing at a time. Probably gonna wash my hands in there too. Obviously, easier to do one thing at a time, but, oh, and my eggs are done. Okay, I'll be back. Gonna flip these over. And of course, when you're making French toast or pancakes, that first side always takes longer to cook than the second side. So once you flip over, pretty much by the time I do this row, that first row that I flipped is going to be ready to take off and put on our cookie sheet. So with the griddle, I can do 8 pieces at a time, which is helpful when you have a large family or you're cooking for others. So filled up another tray. So I'm going to start another tray and add this one to the freezer with the other one so that it can freeze and I can throw those into individual bags a little later. Okay, I'll be right back. So we've got 4 trays of cinnamon French toast in the freezer, and they're just freezing so that I can bag them after they are just frozen on that single layer. And next I want to do breakfast bowls. This is a recipe I've never done before, haven't done anything even similar, so I'm not totally sure how it's going to work out, but I'm hoping that it works well, and I know that the flavors are something that my family will really enjoy. So I was saying that earlier I had browned the hash browns, so they already were cooked and just got a bit of extra brown on them. So I'm putting them in these individual dishes that can be microwaved. These are the dishes that I use when we make freezer meals for our family for to last us 3 months. I use these dishes for my mother-in-law. So some of the recipes that we make, if we're making butter chicken, I will just put a little bit, like half of this of butter chicken and then rice on the other side, and give that to her with the lid. It can go in her freezer, and then it makes like a TV dinner type of idea. So I also do, we've done pastas in there for her, soups, different things like that. And these are great for people who are living by themselves, or even if there's just 2 of you, they are great containers for that. Obviously for our family, they're a bit small unless you're making a meal like this where it's just an individual dish. So I'm just gonna layer our potatoes in each one. And then one thing I want to try, since I'm experimenting today, is to make a casserole dish that the family can eat. So it's going to be a larger one. Wasn't sure size-wise. You know what? I'm going to grab a larger casserole. As I was looking at that, I was thinking, no, that's too many potatoes and it won't feed our whole family. So this one, I'm just going to dump those in there and then continue. So these hash browns have already been seasoned. I added salt and pepper to them. One of the things we often add to our hash browns is Cajun seasoning. So I considered that, but knowing that I was also adding a lot of vegetables and salsa to these, I decided to keep the seasoning really simple. 1 layer of hash browns there, and then I'm going to add a layer of scrambled eggs. Actually, I'm changing my mind. I'm going to instead add some of the peppers in this layer. So just mix that in a little bit so that all the colors mix together. Add a layer of peppers. Add that to each bowl. Then I'm going to do some bacon. So I cooked the bacon in the oven, as I was telling you, and I'm just gonna grab a few strips of the bacon into my kitchen scissors and slice it right in. Now, of course, if you're prepping the day before or something, you could already have your bacon sliced, but since I'm doing this on the fly today, I'm just gonna add that in. Because I roll or twist the bacon, it's already in small rolls when it comes out, so it's easy to slice. And I think this is gonna work really well in here. 4 strips of bacon here, so not a whole lot in total, but it looks like it's plenty for each dish. Now I'm gonna go and give the kitchen scissors a good wash and my hands and come back to do the next step. Going to add some onion that I had cut up. It's purple onion that I had used when I made nachos the other night. I have some left over, so I'm just adding some purple onion to these. Nachos are like my favorite thing in the whole world. So a lot of those nacho flavors, the jalapenos, onions, peppers, tomatoes, cheese, that finds its way into a lot of my recipes because there's just no going wrong with those flavors, in my opinion. I'm gonna flip this one up just so you can see the colors and what that looks like so far. Then I'm going to add some scrambled eggs to each one. Now, I don't really know a super fast way of making scrambled eggs, like if you're making a large quantity like this, so I just did them up in the frying pan. If you know a faster way to do large amounts of scrambled eggs, let me know in the comments, because I'm actually going to have to scramble eggs several times today because this skillet wasn't large enough for me to do as many as I needed for the breakfast burritos and for this recipe. So if you know a better way, please let me know. So, layer of eggs. So this is gonna be a really nice hearty meal. Be good for one of my kids who's gonna be working really hard that day or who's going to school. Just to start off their day, or good for my husband to grab as he's on his way out the door because it can be microwaved. So I'm going to add some pico de gallo on the top of the eggs. I think these are going to be delicious. Now these ones I won't be giving to our friends because they're an experiment, and so until we've frozen them, reheated them, and I know for sure that they hold up and work well, I won't be gifting them to anyone, because you don't want to give meals that end up not being a very nice gift if they don't turn out. So that's why I didn't make very many. When we do new freezer meals, when we're doing our dinners, I always just make one of the new meal so that we can try it. And then if it works really well, then the next time we of course make 2 or 3. But you never want to have, 2 or 3 of something and then hate it the first time and realize that your family's not going to eat the other ones. So, and we are going to finish with some shredded cheese. You could use Tex-Mex. I'm just using a mozza cheddar blend. I should probably show you how this is looking now. So it's looking like that, nice and colorful. When things are colorful, you know they're full of healthy ingredients. Never have too much cheese is kind of my motto. Okay, so our breakfast bowls are done. Again, not very many of them, but it'll be a good experiment to try and see what we think. And if they're delicious, I can make more next time. Now, before we start assembling the breakfast sandwiches, I just want to take a few minutes and get another batch of scrambled eggs going. These ones will be for the breakfast burrito, breakfast burritos. So I've got 2 skillets going this time. Hopefully that will speed up the process and get enough for me to make all the burritos. Okay, so some pepper, salt, milk. I've got some butter melting in the skillets on the stove, so I'll just go over and put this on and we'll get started doing the breakfast sandwich assembly. Okay, so scrambled eggs are cooking again, and we are going to assemble these breakfast sandwiches. Okay, so we're just gonna make an assembly line to get these breakfast sandwiches put together. Now, if I had some of my kids helping me, or Christy was here, we would make a true assembly line and have different people on different stations, have somebody putting them together and someone wrapping them. But I'm by myself today, so we'll just make do. So this is what those eggs look like that we baked in the oven. So we will open our English muffins. Honestly, guys, opening the English muffins is the hardest part of this whole job. And it's not even that hard. but you'll get those open, and then to each English muffin sandwich, you're going to add an egg and a type of meat. So that can be the back bacon, also known as Canadian bacon, or the breakfast sausage patty, or bacon. So you'll add that and then top it with cheese, and then the other side of the English muffin, and you're gonna wrap them in plastic wrap. When you microwave these, you want to microwave them on paper towel. That prevents them from getting soggy, and that is the best trick I know for that. So again, like I said, opening these English muffins is the hardest part here. Okay, there we go. So I'll get the cheese opened, and I need to grab my kitchen scissors. There we go. And we'll go egg. Now, these eggs, as you can see, are a little bit small for these. So what I might do when I'm making the next batch, which will be right after this, is I might do my eggs in a rectangle baking pan, and then cut them into squares because they'll take up more room in the sandwich. So that's another method that I've used before, and I'm just noticing how small the eggs are in comparison, and I'm not loving that. So I think we'll keep these for ourselves, and for the ones we give away, we'll make them in the baking pan so that we can do a better job of making them fit. So just show you here, we've got the sausage patty, and then cheese, and then topping it. So we've got one done, and we're going to continue. So just want to show you an example of each type of meat here. So for this one, I'm going to use that back bacon and the cheese. And then for this next one, I'll use our sriracha bacon, probably cut it in half here, like that, and set our cheese on top. So I'll finish with the bacon because I wasn't planning to give the sriracha bacon to the other family just in case they don't like spicy. So I know these ones will go to our family anyway, so I might as well use them on these tiny eggs, which I didn't realize would end up being so tiny. But like I said, I'm gonna do them in a rectangle pan next, and I know for sure that that works because I've done that before, and obviously should have done that today. So there we go. So we have a good start to our breakfast sandwiches. Now, next you want to actually just gonna finish what I have here, just the eggs, just because it's so much faster to kind of do one thing at a time and get going on that than it is to start wrapping and then come back. Doing it at a time, so doing all of your eggs, then all of your meat, then all of your cheese. It goes so much faster, just like anything with freezer cooking. So that's what I'm doing now. We'll get doing these with the sausage patties and then our cheese. Breakfast sausage. So just give that a wrap. You want it to be pretty tight. Again, air is the enemy to freezer food, so you don't want to get freezer burn. So in this one, I'm just gonna write breakfast sausage. And then we'll be putting all of our breakfast sandwiches in a large freezer bag, so that we can get all the air out of there at the end, seal it, freeze it, and it will be ready to go. Okay, so my battery died. I'm back. I am just gonna spray this 9x13 pan and spray it pretty well so that the egg comes out easily, and then going to do 1 dozen eggs and just a little bit of milk. So I just realized something really funny. Their packs of 60. So we've already gone through 60 eggs. When I went to open the next package, I realized that it says 60 on it pretty clearly. So we've gone through 60 already. This right here will be 62. So we're obviously going through a lot of eggs today. I don't think we'll make it through that next pack of 60, but we'll definitely make a dent in it. So, okay, just giving this a bit of a whisk. I'm just using a fork because my whisk is dirty from whisking the eggs earlier that had the cinnamon mixture in them and the orange peel. So I don't really want to. I don't want to take the time to clean it right now. And I don't want to mix cinnamon or orange peel into my egg sandwiches. So I'm going to add some salt and pepper here. I've still got those 2 skillets of scrambled eggs going on the stove. You might be able to hear those cooking. And this is going into a 325 degree oven for 20 minutes. I'll check them at 20 minutes. You don't want them to be overcooked because you're going to be microwaving the sandwiches, so they'll be cooking a bit then. So you don't want them to be runny, of course, either. So we've got our mixture there. It's going in the oven. You could also add some vegetables into here, or some chives, onions, some of the peppers that you've got chopped up. You could add those into here, and then it kind of creates an omelet breakfast sandwich, so that's another option for you. So I grabbed all the cinnamon French toast out of the freezer, and I'm just taking it off the sheets and putting it into freezer bags. You can fit in a large resealable bag. You can fit about 4 French toasts high, and times 4, so 16 per bag. And there you have it. You just give that a good seal after you've taken as much air out as you can. And then you get going on your next one. You do need some type of a spatula or scraper because sometimes they stick a bit to the cookie sheet. And I'll get going on the next tray here. So it's taken a fair bit of time to get to this point, and it felt a little bit ago like I wasn't getting anywhere, but now things are starting to come together. The breakfast bowls are done. Now we've got the French toast all bagged and ready to go. Some of the breakfast sandwiches are done, and all of the elements for the breakfast burritos are made. So it's starting to kind of come together at this point, which is good because it's easy to get discouraged. I also went and grabbed myself a water because when you start to feel your energy dropping, it's a good time to eat something or get a drink to keep you going. Next, we are going to do the scrambled egg bites. These are something that I created after my husband was always getting the egg bites from Starbucks drive-thru, and I figured I could make them myself for cheaper and probably better, or at least know what all of the ingredients are and know what you're eating. So they're super easy to make. You can add anything that you want. Actually, I'm just gonna grab some spinach from the fridge because I made smoothie bags the other day. Our freezer is now full of smoothie bags, which are awesome, and although there's 4 less than there were just a few days ago because the kids love them so much, and my husband's been having them too. But I have a bit of leftover spinach from those smoothie bags, and I'm gonna grab that and put them in the egg bites because, like I was saying, you can really use anything that you have on hand, and it's a great way to use up some of your leftovers or what you have in the fridge anyway. So I'll be right back. Okay, so this is super, super, super easy to do. You just want to grab your eggs. You're gonna put 1 egg in, I greased the muffin tin already. You're gonna break open 1 egg in each muffin tin compartment. So the recipe for this, I will link it down below if you want to be able to refer back and grab the exact recipe. So 1 egg in each of the compartments. If you want, you can just use egg whites for this recipe. I'm using the whole egg today. Now, my timer just beeped for those eggs for the breakfast sandwiches, so I'm gonna go grab those. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper to each one here. And then just take a fork and you want to break up the yolk. You don't want to whisk these a ton. You're not adding any milk or anything, but you just want to break the yolk. Next, you're going to add your vegetables, your meat, whatever it is that you want. Think of these as almost little mini omelets. Anything that you like in your omelet, you'll probably like in these. So any mushrooms, ham, bacon, sausage, peppers, tomatoes, whatever it is that you like, just add those in. So in ours, I'm doing that spinach from my leftover spinach, and then I'm going to do peppers and chorizo sausage and green onions. We're gonna add our cheese. So again, I'm just using mozzarella cheddar cheese because I'm not sure the spice tolerance of this other family. So if it was just us, I would probably be using a Tex-Mex blend. So I'm gonna add a little bit of cheese to the top of each one here. And the next thing that you want to do is you're going to take the fork that you used to break the yolks and just press the ingredients down in each one. You want to make sure everything is covered with that egg. So it doesn't have to be completely underneath the egg or anything, but you just want to press the ingredients down, make sure everything is going to be included in that egg bite. We are going to cook these at 350 degrees for 20 or 25 minutes. So these are going into the oven. We took that other egg tray out. Right back. So next up, we're going to do breakfast burritos. Now, while breakfast burritos are great, especially when you have teens who love to snack late at night or like to have a really hearty breakfast, the one thing that I don't love about breakfast burritos, I'm just gonna be honest here, is I'm not the greatest at rolling burritos. So I always feel like I could use help when it comes to burrito rolling. But today I'm going to roll them myself and hope for the best. So I will just grab my ingredients and we'll get started. For these burritos, I'm going to use scrambled eggs, ground breakfast sausage, cheese, and peppers. You can do bacon instead of the breakfast sausage if you prefer. You could even, like I could be adding the chorizo sausage. So basically you want the scrambled egg part to remain the same, but you could change up the meat and the vegetables. So just be adding about that much. Again, I don't have exact measurements for this kind of thing. You're gonna add some breakfast sausage, a handful of peppers, and here comes, oh, that's the cheese. I just about forgot that. The cheese, and for me, here comes the scary part, which is the rolling of the burrito, which I am no good at. So I prefer it if we're doing this on a day that Christy's here. She is way better at burrito rolling than I am, so that's one of her designated things. We both have our strengths. So anyway, my hypothetically rolled burrito. Then we're gonna wrap them. I like to wrap mine in foil. Now, of course, with foil, it can't go in the microwave, but you shouldn't really use plastic wrap in the microwave either. So I just find that they keep better for me if they're wrapped in foil. Now, if you go camping and you have them in foil, you can actually heat them up over the fire, which is really handy. And while I'm talking about that, I'll let you know that if you make the breakfast sandwiches that we're making today, you can wrap them in foil instead of plastic, and then those are great for bringing camping and heating over the fire too. So again, it's not wrapped properly or burrito-ized properly, but there you go. And you will be filling your freezer bag with the breakfast burritos, and then you'll just write the cooking instructions and what it is on the bag so that your kids know, because we make actual burritos and also wrap them individually in foil, and so my kids wouldn't know which is which unless I labeled them. So that's an important part there. So I'm just going to continue to assemble these breakfast burritos. Hopefully my burrito wrapping will get better as I go, or I will figure out some kind of tricks. This one I'm trying it a little further over, seeing if that helps. But anyway, I've still got those egg bites in the oven, and I've got the eggs for our next set of breakfast sandwiches that were made in the pan all ready to go. They're just cooling down before I cut them. So we have a lot of things on the go right now. Only a few things completely finished, but got a lot on the go. So, oh my goodness, my wrapping is terrible. If any of you have burrito wrapping tips, make sure to let me know in the comments, because hopefully this is something I can get better at over time. So I'm gonna keep going here, and I'll pop back in a bit and update you. I ended up with 18 breakfast burritos, with the 2 skillets of scrambled eggs and 2 small packages of ground sausage. I was a little bit worried that the ground sausage wasn't going to be enough and that I was going to run out, but my plan was just to use the extra cooked bacon if I ran out of breakfast sausage, so I wasn't really worried, but I kind of thought I would run out, but I didn't. And so as you can see here, 8 breakfast burritos fit in a bag, and so we'll have just over 2 bags of breakfast burritos. So one we can give away and one we can keep, and those extra 2 will get eaten probably as soon as one of the kids comes home from work. So as you can clearly see, my burrito wrapping skills did not improve over the course of the day. I really believe in that whole practice makes progress thing, but in this case, I don't feel like I made any progress. They all look just as bad as that first one. But anyway, so finishing up the burritos here, and then we're gonna move on to finish those breakfast sandwiches. I can feel like the end is in sight, which is a great feeling because it's been a long day, but thankfully I have a fair bit to show for it, which is wonderful, and we will have breakfast for a while now. So just going to grab the tray of eggs, and I let that cool a bit just to make it a little bit easier to work with, and I'm hoping that it comes out okay. There's no magic of television here. This is going to be like the real deal. It's either going to work or it isn't. So we'll see. I sprayed the pan. I'm hoping that that did the trick. Looks pretty promising, actually. I think we're going to be pretty good. There's a little bit of sticking, but it's not too bad. Okay, so I wish I had a mathematical brain so I could figure out how to cut this into 12 slices that were all even when I have no idea. But we're just going to give it our best guess. It's going to be very even. Now, the tray should have been cut into 12 squares, but I did 15 because I still have quite a few toppings for the breakfast sandwiches, and I just wanted to squeeze out a few extra. So we'll start assembling these and see if this is going to work any better. If you've got kids that want to help you with your freezer meal assembly, putting these breakfasts together, then a job that they can do that will save you a bit of time is opening the English muffins. I'm going to add an egg slice. Oh yeah, that fits so much better than those little tiny ones from earlier. This is going to work really well. So I'll do an egg slice on this first row. I hope you can see that there. I might just move these burritos out of the way so you can get it better while I'm at it. I'm very fortunate that I have a top oven and a bottom oven, so I can be cooking 2 things at one time, which has saved me a lot of time over the years. So I will keep one oven on because I'm going to be making more of the scrambled egg bites, because I still have a lot of eggs, obviously. I still have quite a few peppers, chorizo sausage, and spinach and green onions. So I can be making those for the next little bit. They're really easy, as you guys saw, really easy to make. So I'm going to do all of these with the sausage patty, and then finish them off with the cheese. I'm short, so it's hard for me to reach to the other end of the island. As you can see, that worked so much better than the other ones in the muffin tin tray. So I'd suggest to do them in a pan like this. Again, I have done them like this before. I've also done them the other way. I didn't remember how tiny they really were in the muffin tin. So I thought I could get away with doing them in the muffin tin, which saves you the step of, you know, cutting them and scooping them out. So, but this is so much better. I'm just gonna get these wrapped, get them in bags, and we will move on to the next thing. Before I finish the rest of wrapping the breakfast sandwiches, I just wanted to show you quickly grabbing the scrambled egg bites and what you're gonna do with them. So they pop out of the pan super easily because I used a stoneware tin. I pop those in there. It's better if you wait for them to be a bit cooler because then you don't get any moisture in your bag. But I just wanted to show you really quickly how easy it is to make these and get them in your freezer. So thanks for joining me today. I'm gonna finish up, clean my kitchen, and then go sit down and watch TV because it's been a long day and I need to shut my brain off. If you are looking for more meal plan ideas, freezer meal recipes, tips, and tutorials, I invite you to subscribe to me here on YouTube. And thanks again for joining. Have a great night. Happy cooking.